Okay, so it's time for my end of week vlog for the end of week 1 for May 2020, and I'm really excited because I've had the single most amazing book reading week, you guys. It's been incredible. Okay, let's get serious. It's been more than a week because week 1 for May for me has been 10 days, so yeah, but still. It's been the most incredible 10 days of reading that I've had since I started my booktube channel, and that is saying something. So let's get right into the books that I read this week, starting off with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone if you're in America, by J.K. Rowling. This was a reread for me, but I haven't read it in, goodness knows, I think about 5-6 years, and rereading it this week, I was filled with so much nostalgia because I love this series. To be reintroduced to this world once again, it felt like coming home. I love everything about this book. I can't think of one thing that I don't like about this book, honestly. Oh, gosh. I'm going to be hard pressed for cons this week, but anyway, yeah, I can't think of anything that I don't love. We are introduced to this world through the eyes of the protagonist, Harry Potter, and keeping it spoiler free for anyone who hasn't read Harry Potter, and if you haven't, totally fine, no judgment, but I highly recommend you read it because you can have a lot of fun, especially if you love fantasy. We go in, well, Harry Potter is a human who, it turns out, he's a wizard. That's not really a spoiler because he finds it out really early on, and yeah, I'm sure you already knew that. Once we get into the magical world, this is the first time that Harry goes into the magical world, and it's the first time as the reader that you read the book. It's the first time you've gone there too. So we get to experience this world through Harry's eyes the first time he experiences it, and it makes it for even much more of an enjoyable journey. And then he ends up going to this magical school called Hogwarts, and oh my god, this school is so awesome. It's no surprise that there are millions of people all over the world that wish that Hogwarts was real and that we could go there and just live at Hogwarts. I'm certainly one of them. I loved this book. I'm so happy that I chose to reread Harry Potter this month for the month of May. Such a special month for me. Yay. And yeah, I end up giving this book 5 stars. I think I always will. It's just such a fun, enjoyable read. It's a middle grade fantasy, and I absolutely loved it. The second book that I read this week is a first time read for me, and it was The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. Now, this series has been out for an incredibly long time. I don't know how long, but a long time, and there are, I believe, 3 books currently. There's a 4th one on the way, but at the time of recording, there are 3 books in the series, and there are 4 films. From what I'm told, what I have been told, the 3rd book has been broken up into 2 movies. I had no experience whatsoever with the Hunger Games going in. Never read any of the books, never seen any of the films, never been told any spoilers, and I'm so appreciative of that because it allowed me to completely dive in to this book so completely unaware of what was coming, and the journey was so much fun. So in this book, we're following the protagonist, Katniss, and the premise of this book is that every year in this dystopian world, it's a dystopian book, in this dystopian world filled with many different classes, and yeah, I'll just quickly explain that. This world is filled with many different classes, but each class lives in its own district. Katniss, I believe, lives in District 12, and so there were 13. I believe there are just 12 at the moment, but correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, on Reaping Day, which occurs once a year, those who are eligible go into a drawing pool, the girls in one pool, the boys in another, and one child, I believe the ages are something like from the age of 12 to 18 or something like that. It's really ridiculous, to be honest. But anyway, one child for each gender in each district, so 12 districts, so that makes it 24 children, are selected at random to go into this event known as the Hunger Games. And basically the premise of the event is that you go in there hoping that luck may ever be in your favor, which they keep repeating, and it's really annoying. It's so tyrannical. It really is. May the luck ever be in your favor. Really. Because the caveat is that once all the children, teenagers, whatever you want to call them, once they're in the arena, only one can come out alive. It's basically a battle to the death. And yeah. So the first half of this book is basically we're following Katniss, and whilst Katniss is not chosen, I feel I can say this and not have it be a spoiler because it's chapter 1 where this occurs. Katniss is not chosen, but her sister, Prim, it's the first time that she's eligible. She's just come to age of eligibility this year. She only has her name put into the drawing basket once, because your name gets put in a certain amount of times if you receive certain things. So for example, this is a really lame example, but let's say you want a stick of butter. You can have a stick of butter provided your name goes into the drawer. And so the more amount of things that you claim on the proviso that your name goes in the drawer, the more amount of times your name is in the drawer, so the more likely it is that you're going to be drawn. Katniss was not drawn, but her sister Prim, whose name had only been put in once, was drawn. And Katniss jumped up and said, no, she's not going in. I volunteer. I will do this. And so Katniss ends up volunteering to take Prim's place and go into the Hunger Games. The first part of the book we spent with Katniss preparing for the Hunger Games, and it's good because, again, just like with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, we have a character who, while they know about the Hunger Games, is going into it for the first time, so we're seeing it through the eyes of someone who's never experienced it before, while we have never experienced it before either. So there's a lot of preparation that goes on before they are placed into the arena. Once I figured out what the Hunger Games was while reading this, I thought they were going really quickly, but the first half of the book is preparing for the arena. The second half of the book, they're actually in the arena. I loved all of it. The first half was really enjoyable. It gave me Selection vibes. Just because there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes in preparation for the arena. The second half of the book was amazing also because of such high stakes of, what you need to do. Everyone needs to basically kill each other, and in saying that, that's on the offense. On the defense, you're always looking out to see if anyone's trying to come and kill you. And I loved it. This book was so amazing. I had no idea what I was going to think. I knew it was a popular book, but I was prepared to say, I don't like this, and that's fine. But I did also promise myself that if I did like it, and if I gave it at least 4 stars, that I would read the second book in the series in June. Well, top that, I gave it 5 stars because I loved it that much. So I'm definitely going to be reading book 2 in June, and I just can't wait. I'm really excited to read it. So 5-star book, second 5-star book in a row for May. It was a wonderful start. The third book that I read in the first week of May was this book, The Elite by Kiera Cass. Now, I literally just finished this book about 5 minutes ago. Well, this video has been going for nearly 9 minutes, so let's say about 15 minutes ago I finished this book. And oh my gosh, this book is amazing. So the first book in the series, without giving away too much, but I'll give you a little bit of the premise of book 1, is that it's basically the Bachelor meets the Royal Kingdom, where all of the girls that are eligible can put their name into a lottery draw to be drawn out to take part in a Bachelor-style thing called the Selection, where they are vying for the heart of the prince, the actual prince in the castle, whose name is Prince Maxen, and our protagonist, America Singer, begrudgingly puts her name into the drawer. She doesn't want to go in the drawer, but her mother bribes her to put her name in the drawer, and she does get drawn out to take place in the selection process. The first book is so much fun. The protagonist, America Singer, is a very headstrong female protagonist, and I love my headstrong female protagonist. So that was unexpected. I thought, looking at the covers and looking how she's dressed in like ball gowns, I thought she's going to be a little, flitty little girl who has a lot of fun and everything is, sunshine and rainbows. But no, she has gone through a tough life because, again, this is another dystopian in case you didn't know. So she grew up in a caste system where she was towards the bottom. She's not in the lowest caste, the lowest class, but she's towards the lowest class. So that has hardened her and given her certain views on life, and so coming into the opulence of the palace, it's really interesting. But one thing that she maintains throughout the first book is her own values and principles, which is just really amazing to read. But all in all, the first book, the selection, is just a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it that much. I gave it 5 stars because it was a fun book to read. The Elite, okay, if you've read the selection and you found it fun and you, like me, wanted to read The Elite because you thought it was going to be just as much fun as the first book, I'm going to warn you right now. Oh my god. Kiara Cass in the first book, in the selection, rainbows, everything nice, everything beautiful. Yes, we have a headstrong protagonist, but it's a fun time. But in the Elite, Kiara Cass goes there. Oh my god, where does she go? Well, I don't want to give away spoilers, but there are things that happen in this book that I was not expecting at all. Things that are, quite frankly, the opposite to rainbows and fluffy clouds. So, I mean... And when that first moment of non-rainbow fluffy cloudedness happens, it freaked me out because I was not expecting it at all. I was seriously just expecting it to be a nice fun book, and it was hard for me to read because, one, I wasn't expecting it, but two, it's a bit it's just a bit tough to read. I'll put it that way. There is, I don't want to give away too much, but let's just say there is some violence that occurs. And there was no, I had no warning to this, so I want you to be warned if you're picking this up. If you are triggered by violence, you need to be warned that that does come up in this novel. It might as well be changed from the title The Elite to The Violence, but because there is a lot of violence that goes on in this book. The first time it happened, it shocked me. I wasn't expecting it. It was very hard to get through. Then there is a second moment. There is a reveal that is really, really tough to deal with as well. And then there is a third moment. Again, you can see how hard this is for me because I can't talk about it because it would be a spoiler. But there is a third moment that occurs where I was really worried that something was going to happen because Kiara Cass writes in a way that is so purposeful that I thought, oh no, this thing is going to happen that I don't want to have happen, and I'm not going to say what it is and leave that to your own imagination. But then right at the end, a really good ending happened, and this book took me on a roller coaster ride. Book 1 did not do that for me. Book 1 was just a lot of fun. But this book is so much more. You know the phrase, never judge a book by its cover? Certainly don't judge this book by its cover. The cover has a beautiful girl in a beautiful ball gown, and she's looking, pretty fine, and, da-da-da, opulence, I own everything, kind of thing. No. This book should be called The Violence, I'm telling you. But it is written so gosh dang well. It really is. And I ended up giving this book 5 stars. So this is what I mean. These first 10 days of May have been the best reading experience for me because every single book I read received 5 stars. I'm off to a flying start and I am so happy about it. So let's look forward now to week 2 and what I'm going to be reading in week 2. So the first thing that I'm going to say is on Tuesday, so not tomorrow, but the next day, is my birthday, the 12th of May, and I'm excited about that because, yeah, it's always good to have a birthday. Even though we're in lockdown, I am still excited about it. And I was going to read The Elite for my birthday, but I DNF'd a book, and if you want to learn more about that, you can watch my latest reading vlog where I talk about that, or the one before. Anyway, it's either the last one or the one before, where I talk about the fact that I deleted a book called The City We Became, and so I kind of had to reshuffle my books and move them all up one. So instead of reading this one during my birthday, I'm now reading the next book. So the second day of the second week is my birthday, and during that day I will be continuing to read the first book that I read in week 2, which is next Harry Potter, which I am very happy about. So this works out well for me. This is as of February 2020. This is my second favourite series. As of up until the end of 2019, this was my favourite series of all time, so it's my second favourite series, but I'm so happy to be reading this. I will be reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I have so many authors rolling around in my head at the moment. By J.K. Rowling, and I'm really excited to get back in this book. It will be a reread for me, and it's been a really long time since I've read this one. If it's been 5 or 6 years since I've read The Philosopher's Stone, it's probably been about 10 years since I've read Chamber of Secrets. So I am really excited to be reading this book, and I will definitely be doing a review on this book as well as the movie, because I'm going to read the book and watch the film once I've gotten through all of that. So that's the first book I'm going to be reading in week 2. This video is going really well. Can you tell? The second book I'm going to be reading in week 2 is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Okay, so this is a new author for me. I have not read any James Islington before, but this book comes incredibly highly recommended by so many who love the same sort of books that I do. The only thing I know is it's a fantasy book. I keep looking at the spine because there's something here that I hadn't seen before. I've been holding on to this book since the last week of last month, of April. But I'm just noticing for the first time it has the name of the series on the spine. You can see that there. So I did not notice that. That's why I keep looking at it. So it is the is it Licanius? Licanius? I really don't know. That's probably why I didn't see it. Trilogy. So yeah, I've just heard a ton about this book, and so I have to correct that. I haven't heard a ton of what this is about. I am going to go into it blindly. I've ummed and ahed over whether I should read the blurb on the back, but I'm not going to. I think Hunger Games proved for me that sometimes it's so much better to go into a book blind and just see what happens. But I know that this book is a fantasy, and it is... I'm just going to get a page count for you. 693 pages long, yes, sir. So it's a very hefty fella. And it is a tome. Well, 693 makes it really close to 700, so makes it really close to being a tome and a half. So it's going to be a long journey for me, and will take up a lot of the middle of week 2 for me. But I am really excited to read this because it does come really highly recommended. So I'll let you guys know how I go with it. The third book that I'm going to be reading in the second week of May is this book, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Now, if you are American, you're maybe used to a different cover, and I have to admit that upon seeing the American cover first, and then realising that this is the only cover available in Australia during the lockdown, I was a bit disappointed to end up with this cover, I'll admit that, but if I end up loving this book, I will swap it for the American cover because I do find it to be a lot more beautiful, and you can check that out by going to Google and comparing the two because the other one's just really, really, really beautiful. This book is a really important book to read from what I have been told. It deals with the, how do I put this? Young person dating an older person trope where Vanessa, who is a student, ends up dating her teacher, and the genre of this book is a psychological book because the teacher puts her through a lot of different things psychologically. So I'm really appreciative of the fact that I have been warned of the triggers of this book, but apparently it's a really incredibly important book to read because of the subject matter. So I'm not going in incredibly blind. I'm going in knowing that this is not a book to read for fun, but a book to read because of how important the subject matter is to read and to be aware of. So I am excited about that. From the let's try that again. From the little I have been told, this book is a dual perspective, but it is a dual perspective of one character, and that is Vanessa. So we have Vanessa in her younger years when she is dating her professor and looking at their relationship through rose-colored glasses, and then we have the perspective of older Vanessa who's looking back and seeing everything that she didn't see when she was dating her professor. So it's going to be a tough read, I'm sure it is, but I'm looking forward to seeing what my takeaway from this is going to be, and I do appreciate the fact that I'm not going in blind. I'm going in knowing this is not a book to read for fun, but a book to read because of the importance of the subject matter that comes up in this book. So I just want to quickly hark back to the books that I read in week 1 because I want to talk about reviews for these books. So with Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, I already have a review up for this, and that review discusses my thoughts on the book as a whole. It is a spoiler review, so if you haven't read it, I would recommend you read the book and then see the review, but it is a review on the book as a whole, and then a review on the film, and then a review of comparing the book to the film because of how much I do love this series. It is a 2-parter. It goes for about an hour. If you want to watch that, you can go to my playlist. It is under the Harry Potter section of my playlist because I'm creating a Harry Potter section there. But I did want to talk to you about these 2 books. Now, I'm not going to have enough time to review both of them because things have been really busy for me at the moment, not only with the amount of reading I've been doing this week, where I only just made it to the deadline with the Elite, but also I have a lot to read next week, and I am homeschooling my niece who is staying with us, and that does take a lot of time away from what I normally do. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put a poll up in my favorite Facebook group, Passion for Groups, asking which book you would prefer for me to review. I'm going to leave the link to that group in the description below. Feel free to go and join that group and vote in the poll over which of these 2 books you would prefer for me to review, and I'll review that one. And that's going to be my rule moving forward for the rest of this month. So I'm going to review the Harry Potter books regardless of what happens. So I already have this one, and I will definitely review this one. But at the end of next week, I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other 2 books. With The Shadow of What Was Lost and with My Dark Vanessa, I'm going to put these 2 up in a poll in Passion for Books as well. So you can vote over there in that poll as to which one you think I should review, and I will review that one. It has been an incredibly amazing reading week for me. I feel so blessed to have 3 books that I just absolutely love, whether I've read them before or not, which I'd only just read this one. But I just need to take that moment to really appreciate how great this reading week was. 5 stars for all 3 books. I've never done that before on my channel, so I highly recommend each and every one of these books. Despite the fact that I don't have enough time to review both of these 2, I do recommend all 3 because they're just really amazing for all different reasons. So yeah, really grateful for that. Now, for those of you wanting to buddy read alongside me as I do go through week 2, on Monday and Tuesday, I'll be reading Harry Potter. So I'll start Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets tomorrow, and I'll finish it on my birthday, which is going to be a lot of fun. And then for the majority of the rest of next week, I'm going to read The Shadow of What Was Lost because of how long this book is. So this will be read Wednesday, Thursday, and probably Friday as well, which is still kind of pushing it. And then on the weekend, I will read My Dark Vanessa. So if you want to join me for that, feel free to do so. But to end this video, these are the books that I read this week. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, 5 stars. The Hunger Games, 5 stars. And The Elite, 5 stars. And the books I'm reading next week are Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, The Shadow of What Was Lost, and My Dark Vanessa. Wherever you are, I hope that you are staying safe during this lockdown. I hope that you're enjoying what it is you're reading. And if you want to talk to me about anything you're reading at all, feel free to comment in the space below, or you can email me. All of those details are there as well. Letting you guys go peace, blessings, and so much love. Mwah. I post videos every Monday, Thursday and Sunday, with reviews on Mondays, a midweek vlog on Thursdays, and an end-of-week vlog like today on Sundays. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and happy reading! Bye guys! Bye!